Hello and welcome to Bottom Feeders Incorporated. This is Maddie77 coming to you today with part 3 of Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Just finished up the doctor's office. Happy holidays, by the way, regardless of what holiday you may celebrate. It should be Christmas Day right now. Barring some unfortunate, unforeseen event. I think I made some screw-ups in this particular part of the game. Missed some stuff. Makes me feel bad. Want to play through again just to...
The magnetic field is causing disruptions to phone signals and the rest of the electrics. There are voices on the line. It's 4 a.m. Maybe everyone is up looking at the light show.
And that has relevance later on, but I'll get back to it later. I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I already deleted the game from my hard drive, so I don't know if I feel like re-downloading it just to try and find things I missed. As I've said in other places, I'm not a trophy hunter. I get the trophy hunter for completing it, the trophy for completing it. That's all I need. And some of the trophies, it's...
You know, they see me as an outsider here as well.
Is that supposed to make me feel any better?
I understand it's difficult, that's all I'm saying. Your lot up at Vallis have never mixed with the local community. People here, they don't really understand what you do up there.
Are you trying to get me to come to your church?
It's not just about faith. It's about the community. Be involved. Be seen as part of it. One of them.
Good morning, Father. Lovely day. Oh, hello. Mrs. Appleton, isn't it?
It's Dr. Collins.
Lady scientist. Whatever next.
Good morning, Barbara.
I'll believe that.
You really think that's a community that will ever see me as one of them? I can live with them staring at me. They just stay out of my way.
Jeremy's one of my favorite characters, and I think a lot of the stuff I missed was Jeremy's stuff. Jeremy and Frank. Excuse me, still coughing. But yeah, the trophies, because of the nature of the game and not having as much gamey stuff, I looked at the list. It's stuff like wait around a while and you look it up to find out what it is, and you just have to leave the controller and the game sitting there for 10 minutes. Like, I see no reason to do that just to get a trophy. And the other thing is, and I may do a David Cage game here or there, I don't know, just for the material. But it's like with games like that, and it's funny when you see people talk about all the decision making. Like in Detroit, I guess there actually is a ton of decisions, but okay, that's something else we'll get back to later too. But yeah, the decision making doesn't have that much of an impact on me, because I'm a big believer in when you play a game like this, you play it once. If you miss stuff, you miss stuff. It's kind of the nature of the beast. It's an interactive experience, as I've said. It's not a game. It's not like you need to...
Alright,
Get out of my way.
where's Kate?
What do you think she did?
Stephen, what's going on?
Screw Kate. It's all her fault anyway.
What's that mark on your face? Stephen! Stephen!
It's not like you need to replay it 500 times, and you're gonna have to go over a lot of the same material just to, I don't know, like in this, get a few story things I missed. I've never quite gotten the appeal of that. Like, I know, like, I have played Heavy Rain, and I know it has different endings, depending on if people die or not. And it's like, well, the ending I got's the ending I got. It's like when people talk about the Telltale games just having the illusion of choice instead of a real choice. Well, that really only matters if you play them multiple times. You play it once. I mean, yes, having real choices that really matter is a good thing. I'm not trying to put that down. I just don't see where it becomes an issue for the average person if you're playing through it once and enjoying it for what it is. I mean, I just can't approach these as the same way I approach a game. I don't see the replayability.
What are they up to?
Oh, they found another dead bird. I do wish the council would clean them up.
Well, apparently they're saying it's a flu epidemic, and I gather they'll be closing the roads and stations, so they're worried enough for that.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Well, you don't mess about with the flu outbreak, I suppose. But look, I'm just saying, if you were planning on taking the kids to Wales, now might be the time to do it.
Well, thanks, Barbara. I'll have a word with Neil, see what he thinks. Now, George, Benjamin, for God's sake, leave it alone.
I take it her kid was playing with the dead bird. It's gotta be kind of icky. I'm glad it did that, knowing what's coming up. I almost progressed way too early. And in a part of the game where I already know for a fact I missed stuff, that would have been worse. That's the one funny thing about recording your commentary after doing the gameplay, is you have a much more analytical eye for what you're doing, and you're just seeing all the mistakes you made, and it's not like I'm pro gamer caliber anyway. Not that it matters as much with, say, this, but some of the other stuff. I think that's why when I play, say, for instance, pinball, I just do my recording while I'm playing. Because I think I'd have a heart attack if I went and looked back and watched videos while I'm trying to talk about them, and it would just be me going the whole time, every time I made a mistake or hit the ball wrong. After doing some of this commentary, I'll probably do some pinball today. Well, I do pinball every day. That's kind of a given. Even without doing the YouTube thing, I play pinball every day. That's a given. I love when games do this. Kind of like that in Life is Strange also. The only thing I hate is when they get too repetitive. Like, after a while, you just start seeing the same ones over and over again. I wish sometimes they had more variety. But it takes paying artists and it takes resources, so I can see why they don't.
I couldn't stop it. I couldn't do anything.
Stop it, calm down.
I'll get back. It's in my head. Howard, wait. Ah! Father, are you all right?
It's my ankle. Oh, Jesus, Lord, I think it's broken. Howard, go and get help.
There's no one left. No one's coming to help us.
Please, Howard, fetch help.
The light. They're in the light. I can see everyone in the light.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
nothing else, this game is beautiful. And of course, the story isn't linear.
That's shut down too. So there's no way in or out of the valley. They're obviously serious about this flu thing.
Phil doesn't think it's flu at all. He said he's been practicing medicine for 30 years and he's seen plenty of flu, and he said this doesn't feel right at all.
Well, there's nothing of any use on the radio.
Sorry I'm late, everyone. Have you started?
Yes, but to be honest, there's not really that much to discuss. This quarantine is in place, there's roadblocks and everything. No one really seems to know anything, but people are definitely missing. More of them too, not just a couple of old biddies. No one's seen the Sullivans since yesterday, and the house is just sitting there unlocked.
I just got back from the farm. All of Frank's cows died in the night. He's devastated.
Poor man, hasn't he had enough for 1 year? First Mary and now this.
Well, if no one's coming in to sort this mess out, we're just gonna have to do it ourselves. Barbara, get Phil to do a stock take on medication. Jeremy, put the word out for people to congregate at the village hall. It's best we get everyone in one place for the time being.
Good.
I'll organise supplies. We'll have a lot of hungry mouths to feed. There's plenty at the depot, but well, let's start with what's here in the village. I'll draw up a rota. Charlie, you help me with that?
Anything for you, Meg?
I'll head out into the valley and scoop up the isolated families and check in with Lizzie Graves at the camp. Now, has anyone seen or heard anything from Stephen Appleton or his wife?
Yeah, Frank is the husband of the woman that Jeremy helped with the assisted suicide. So that's what that reference was to. I mean, I like that the story isn't told in just a straight narrative. It's just, sometimes it's jarring. You go from a scene where Jeremy definitely just broke his ankle, bad enough that he's asking for help, not even trying to hobble his way up, even with everything going on. That's the thing, you know, you'd think he might try to crawl or something. So it must have been pretty bad. And then the next scene, he just walks right in. It could have been the order I went in too. I don't know. If I went in the other way, it might have played that scene first. I'm not 100% sure. That's another thing I'm not going back to check. I think the one that's closest to having a straight narrative, and it may not be completely in order, but I think it pretty much goes from A to B, is Kate's. But again, Kate, you see little bits of her. The part with Steven and when she was just talking to Jeremy when Barbara interrupted. But for the most part, you get most of everything about Kate through the radio broadcasts. Which, as I said in, I think the first segment it was, kind of stinks because Kate was one of my... I wanted to like her, but she was just a ghost. And so she kind of came off as blah, especially across from Steven, who really is not a nice person as far as I'm concerned. And partly that's putting my own morals and ethics onto things, but he does not come off well from the way I see things. I think I made the mistake of cutting off this recording right in the middle of a conversation, so hopefully it'll be at the start of the next one and we don't miss too much. Yeah, I definitely think this is the last time I put any kind of major attempts into checking everything. Like, there's other places where I do, but I have a better idea of how it works, so I'm not...
Meg? Meg, are you here?
making an idiot of myself about it.
Too many empty houses tonight. Most of the village is gone now.
My head's killing me. Have you listened to the phones?
No, I thought they were all dead.
There's a strange kind of static now.
Well, that was part 3. Thank you. This was Maddie77. Have a day.